All right, guys, welcome, welcome. So we are going to get a little into some social media marketing because here's the reality, guys. More things are moving digitally. Okay, so especially through the pandemic and things like that, more eyeballs are going on the internet. And so it's important because it's such a busy space that we kind of understand some of the logistics behind it and how we can stand out and put ourselves in a position where we can actually make connections, make business, and really propel ourselves. And so that's a little bit of what we're going to chat about this evening. So let's get social. Next slide, please. So first and foremost, I want to talk about these two terms here. If you have a pen and paper, these are two things that I think are good for you to kind of write down or at least think about and consider, if not now, a little bit later. So you'll notice I have the end buyer and the target buyer. In your business, it's super crucial that you understand who your target buyer is and who your end buyer is. If we don't understand and are not super clear on exactly who we want in our business and to attract and things like that, what's going to happen is you're going to be trying to talk to everybody and you're going to reach nobody. Okay. Because what appeals to maybe a mom that's super crunchy is going to be super different than a mom that likes Chick-fil-A, right? So you're not going to present the same things and the same opportunities when you're presenting your business. So now when we say target buyer, so your target buyer might be different than your end buyer. And this is what I mean by that. So you'll notice in the picture, the target buyer is an actual store, right? It's a storefront. It's a lady that maybe owns a store, but yet the end buyer is the mom with little kids. Okay. So think deeply about your services, your products, whatever you're delivering to somebody, because you should have both a target buyer and you should have an end buyer. And so for my business, I come from the beauty industry. So a large portion of the people that, especially when I first started, were somewhere in the beauty industry. So my target buyer was the spa industry, the salon owners, the spa industry, right? But my end buyer wasn't necessarily that spa or salon. It was the person that could benefit from the services of that target buyer. Does that make sense so far? Okay. Again, stop me if anything is not clear. But if we're super clear about who our girl is, and when I say get clear about this, just like you make like a vision board when it comes to like your goals and where you want to be, you should kind of have like a visual avatar of who your person is. Okay. You should know, where do they shop? Do they shop at I don't know UK stores, but like Trader Joe's? Do they shop at Whole Foods? Do they shop at Target, right? Or do they shop in high-end places? Or do they shop at more modest places? Be clear about that. How much income do they make on a monthly and an annual basis, right? Because again, the person that is making $20,000 a year will be attracted to different things than a person that's making $100,000 a year, right? And so when you are marketing your business and you're marketing yourself, especially on social media, and you're showing $20,000 content, right? That's not going to attract the $100,000 person that maybe you actually want. And so you have to think about, what do they wear? Where do they shop, right? What things are important to them? Do they juice, right? Do they exercise? Who is your target buyer and who is your end buyer? Okay. And so I'll leave that homework to you. If you're not super, super clear on who they are, get clear on that. Get clear on that so that when you're going out there and every time you post, every time you go live, every time you share, if you're reaching that person, they're going to be attracted to you. You're not going to have to hunt people down. You'll be fishing. Okay, next. So next I want to talk about quantity over quality. Okay, so you'll notice two pictures in this slide as well. Okay, one of them, there's tons of quantity, there's plenty of people all crowded up, but can you make out even what that picture is and who it is or where they are? Whereas in the second picture, we have quality, right? Which picture would you be more attracted to? So when you think about what am I posting, what am I presenting, think about that. It's not as much as maybe you have a goal where you're like, I'm going to post every single day or I'm going to post every other day. But it's more important that you have the quality than just posting just to post, right? Because if nobody's seeing your post, really, again, we could be spinning our wheels and not really be productive. And we know that social media can really reel you in, right? You go in and you like, all I wanted to do is check one thing and you end up scrolling for hours, right? And so you want to, again, stand out. And then also when we think, so different social media platforms are going to be a little different, right? So Facebook is going to look a little different than Instagram, right? Instagram especially, it needs to be pretty and it needs to capture people immediately. If it doesn't, they're going to keep scrolling. Facebook, you can have a little bit more leeway where, you know, because most of these people are your friends, most of these people are your contacts, you can be, it doesn't have to necessarily be as pretty, but you still want to make sure that it's quality. You want to make sure the information, the content that you're delivering is quality, right? You want to give people value, even if it's not always specific to your products, okay? So even if you're just like, I know Evelyn did a great post where she talked about resolutions, right? It was the beginning of the year. That's what's on people's mind, right? She wasn't out there selling anything, but she was giving quality. And how many views did you have on that, Evelyn? I think it was like over 300, right? So again, think quality. What is on people's mind? How can I give them value? How can I share something that they're going to resonate with and remember? Next. So next, I want to show you some little metrics, okay? It's okay if you can't really read these slides because I'm just going to kind of overview what you're looking at and why this is important, okay? So I'm a lot more comfortable on Instagram reading my analytics and understanding what's going on there versus Facebook, but you can do it on either or. In the first slide, what you see is what the age group of my audience looks like, okay? So 86% of the people that follow me, interact with my page are women, okay? 14% are men. So does it make sense for me to promote something for a man? Probably not, right? Because 14%, and probably that 14% is related to me. It's probably my husband, you know, my cousins that are like, oh, it's Dana, right? So since 86% is the women, again, keeping my ideal client, my ideal target buyer and end buyer in mind, that's how I want to make sure I'm posting and connecting with them. The second thing to notice in that one is the age range, okay? So if you look at my age range, okay, the people that are most attracted to me are 35 to 44 years old, okay? So what that means is people that are attracted to me probably want a little more substance and a little bit more information, right? If I had some of those younger ages, those people, they just want to quickly give me the information. quickly give me the information because I'm moving on, right? So they're the ones that want something funny on Reels, and they want something that is super catchy but quick, right? So again, as I'm analyzing and thinking about how I'm going to effectively attract the right people, there's a lot of flashing lights and a lot of new things going on social media, and it doesn't make sense to have your hands in everything, okay? Focus on where your people are going to be and focus on what they're attracted to. My age bracket is probably going to be more on Facebook, and they're a little bit on Instagram, but when they're on Instagram, they're not just there for the fun part of it, if that makes sense. They want information and content. The next one you can see in my analytics is my days that are most, like I get more reach, okay? So Fridays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, for whatever reason, I have more people interacting with my page. So if I have a sale, right? Or if I have something that I know I want people to see, when should I post it? Somewhere in that time frame, and that's where they're going to see it more rapidly. The last one, we have location. So we have location. So for the most part, I live in Detroit, Michigan, right? So the majority of the people that are looking at my content, connecting with me, live where I live, right? But if you can see my analytics, the next after Detroit is actually Cape Town, South Africa. So the next largest demographics that I have, right, is in Cape Town, South Africa. This is important because they are 7 hours ahead of me, right? So again, when I'm thinking about posting, when I'm thinking about hitting my target people that are in my audience, if I post even like right now, they're in bed, right? They're sleeping right now. So they wouldn't see my content, even though they are a large portion of who my audience is. So then I have to think about times, and that's why if you ever follow some of my stuff, there's a lot of times I'm posting purposely at 11 p.m. at night, because I know those people are just going to be waking up soon and they'll see my stuff first. Or I will post first thing in the morning because I know it's midday for them. So you want to think about that. And I do think, sorry, Evelyn, I keep kind of picking you out, but like you have contacts in Kenya, right? So this is something that's going to be super important for you, right? Because you don't want to be posting when they're in bed and it's 2 a.m. if you want to connect with some of those people, right? Next slide, please. So the next thing I want to talk about is start the conversation. So this is a powerful thing that I feel like social media is supposed to be for us to be social, and yet we have disconnected more than ever before. If somebody walked into your storefront, right? Say you have a brick and mortar building that you sell your products. If somebody walked in and you never said hello, how would they feel? Right? They'd probably walk right back out and never come back again, right? Remember, your social media platform is your storefront. So every time somebody follows you, every time someone sends you a friend request, every time somebody messages you about something, they are entering your storefront. They are entering your little space on these interwebs, okay? So say hello. Say hello. Every single time somebody follows me or sends me a friend request, I message them and I say hello. A lot of times, do you know what happens? They ignore me and they don't respond. Well, if you don't respond when I say hello, I'm probably not going to accept your friend request, and I'm probably not going to follow you back, right? Because you're not my target person, right? If you can't even say hello and we can't even have a conversation, you're probably not the person that I want. because I want actual genuine relationships. I don't want metrics just to say, oh, I have this many followers. I want people that are actually interacting with me, right? I want people that are actually wanting the things that I have to offer for them. So make sure that you're actively starting conversations. Every once in a while, I will go through my friend list and I will just start messaging people and be like, hello, how are you doing today? And again, I will sift through those people. If they don't respond to me, whether I went to high school with them or not, why are we friends if we're not having conversations in actual relationships? Okay, so I think this is a powerful one that sometimes we can get lost in it because we're like, well, why aren't people interacting with my post? Why are people not seeing my post? And a lot of times it's because we're not continuing conversations with people. And so then you're getting lost in the feed. Next. So here is some more numbers and metrics I want to talk about. So you'll notice 3 different photos, and you can actually go to my Instagram and you can see all 3 of these posted somewhere in my page. If you notice all 3 of them, for the most part, we have quality photos, right? Lighting looks good, metrics look good and everything. But what we want to really take a look at is some of these numbers. So in some of these numbers, in this first picture right here, you notice that there's a camera, there's coffee, notepad, and some other things as well. But what is most important is, while it did reach people, it did reach some people, what didn't happen is I didn't get any website clicks. I didn't get a whole lot of interaction. And although it had 975 accounts that were reached, I think it only got 40. Yeah, it only got like 40, 42, 3 likes. Okay. So keep that number in mind as we move over to this one next. So if you notice in this one next, what is different about this picture versus this picture? I'm in the picture. There's a human in the picture. Whether it's just your hand, whether it's some type of human interaction, it automatically boosts your post for people to pay attention to it. They are more interested in knowing that you are a human behind your brand, a human behind your products. Okay. So now we look at these metrics, because this is what's going to be important, right? On this post, I had 119 people like my post, okay, versus the 40 over here. I had 20 people commenting and interacting. I had 14 people at least go to my profile to see what is this girl about, right? And then I had 1 person even save this post. So what that means is they're going to keep coming back to my content because there was something that they saw was interesting. The last picture we have here, what do you notice that is different? So it's still me, right? But now I'm looking at you in the camera. So people connect with people's eyes. It builds trust and they want to keep coming back. So in this picture now, if you can see this little number, this one got 152, 53, something like that likes. Because I'm now looking at everybody and they're more curious about what I have to say. Not only did it get 152 likes, but you notice, again, somebody saved it. So somebody wanted to come back to the content. But even more important, this number right here, 11 people said your content is so valuable that I want other people to see it too. And so they shared it, whether they shared it with a friend whether they shared it in their stories, whether they shared it as a post. For whatever reason, they wanted to continue to share it. And I'm blocking it, but here there's also a number for website clicks, which I think it was like 30 or something like that. So 30 people said, I appreciate your content. I want to learn more. Let me see what you're all about. And the reason this is important when we talk about social media marketing is because now we're talking about, and we'll get a little deeper into conversion. So a person went from, I know, like, and trust you, and now I want to dig deeper into what it is you do. So now when you reach out to these people and you have an offering for them, they're going to be more open because they already know, like, and trust you. Okay. Next. The next thing I want to talk about is tagging and hashtags. Okay. So this is going to be a very powerful tool in order to help you reach larger audiences as well as get new people. So first we'll talk about tagging. So every time you post, especially when it comes to Instagram, it's a little bit different on Facebook, but every time you post, you should have some tagging that you're doing. So whether you tag Oil City Squad, right? Or you tag me, or you tag, let's say, I don't know, I got this hat from Target, right? And I tag Target. What that does is people that are interested in, let's say, Target, will now see my information, depending on how the algorithms are flowing, okay? Because I can show up now on the Target page, or I can show up on, if you tag me, my page, right? So it's important that you tag. I mean, obviously only tag when it makes sense. I mean, don't tag a Bentley and you like don't have a Bentley in your, right? Like you should tag things that make sense to whatever you're doing. The other thing is hashtags. So hashtags are the internet or social media's search engine, okay? That's how you're going to show up for new people, is through your hashtags. If you wonder why it's your same 4 friends liking your stuff or commenting on your stuff, it's probably because you're not using hashtags and new people can't find you. You're not showing up in their information. So how can you attract them? So I have like lists of hashtags that I will use when I post. Okay. So if I'm for one of my brands, when it comes to me, I'm all about natural hair. So I'll have a list of 30 natural hair hashtags that I will add if my post has something to do with that. That way, if I have new people that want to know about natural hair, they're going to find me on the internet. Okay, so tagging and hashtags are going to be super, super important. Next. So this is the last one we're going to talk about is conversion. Okay. So if social media went away, would you have access to your people? Right? And it's happened. Like if Facebook just shut down, right? Do you have access to the people in your groups? Do you have access to the people on your friends list? Right? And this is why too, it's important to have actual conversations with people so that you can actually connect in real life outside of social media too. So I have a picture of a blog, a website, and email. Okay. So these are 3 ways that you can convert people from the social media world into your access, because you own your own website. If you have a website, right? If you're a blogger, you own your blog spot on the internet. If you have email, you own your email, right? So if the world shut down and there's no more social media, you would still have access to people. So you want to make sure that you convert people outside of the social media world. And that's when the true relationships are connected. And that's when you start making money. That's when the sales happen. That's when people are going to keep coming back to you, right? Because you're sending them an email maybe once a week or whatever, twice a month, or however you're communicating with them. And so they know where to keep coming back to you over and over and over again. Okay. Next. So that is all I got with the social media. I'm going to stop the recording and we can open it up if you guys have any questions or any comments on some of the things that we talked about and discussed. I know it was a lot of information, and again, that's why I wanted to record it so that we can go back and kind of go through some of that as well. Did you stop the recording?